So hello everyone, in today's class we'll be seeing most important thing that are very crucial for your UPSC examination from ethics portion, and we'll be seeing that what have been the trend, and we'll be understanding various important introductions and conclusion how to do those, or we'll be understanding various nuances about ethics. Now before we start, we have to understand that this particular paper, ethics, GS paper 4, you are getting the chance to write this ethics paper after 12 hours of continuous writing. Remember friends, on the very first day you are giving your essay, second day GS paper 1, 2, then next that is GS paper 3, and after GS paper 3 you are writing your GS paper 4. That means by that time you are tired physically as well as mentally. So whatever will be there inside, it will be coming outside. So there is mastery being required in this particular paper, ethics. Then only you will be writing quality answers. We have found in the previous, for example, mains examination, various students were there and they always say कि sir ethics में marks नहीं आ रहे. And why it is happening? Even though, for example, you have studied, why it is happening? Because you are not understanding from which particular portion UPSC is asking those questions. So in this particular session, we'll be seeing all those important themes from ethics, and we'll be understanding from unit number 1 to unit number 7. We'll be finding that what are those important themes and how to tackle those, and thereby beyond these themes, whatever I'm telling today, there will be no question. That means these are very important themes, and from unit number 1 to 7 you'll find that कि अगर आपने ये सारी themes कर ली, you will be master of ethics. And thereby let's start. That is from unit number 1. If you see unit number 1, unit number 1 is about ethics and human interface. Ethics and human interface. Now if you see in this particular theme, in this particular topic, you'll find that there are various important themes. First theme that UPSC often asks, that is about ethics and values. Ethics and values. And here you should be knowing, for example, the standard definition of ethics given by second ARC, or for example umbrella definition of ethics, that is it is a normative science where we study human conduct on some established standard. Knowledge of ethics gives us that is what is right and what is wrong in order to achieve summum bonum. Summum bonum in case of Jainism is Kaivalya, Buddhism is Nirvana, Hinduism is moksha, and in the governance it is welfare of citizens. Now this way ethics we have already seen, and values also. You know that for any question on values you will be starting by Milton Rockridge. That is, it is an enduring belief, mode of conduct, state of existence that is personally or socially preferable or desirable. And thereby never forget that in this particular theme we will be making diagrams also. For example, ethics, morals and values. लेकिन लोग गलती क्या करते हैं कि ये डायग्राम तो बनाते हैं, but they never contextualize those diagram in terms of what is being asked. So always try to contextualize all of those aspects in the aspect which is being asked in a question aspect that is being asked in the question. You should be doing those. Second particular theme is ethics versus ethics and laws. Here they will be asking question कि legal give the examples for any particular act, for example any particular actions or behavior where it is legal or unethical, ethical but illegal, and thereby such type of examples are being asked. They'll be asking that is how ethics provide base for these laws. Such type of questions have been asked. Now or for example in this particular portion, how it is playing its role in maintaining the administration. These type of questions have been asked by UPSC repeatedly, and thereby you should be knowing that here also you should be well versed with the diagrams. Yes, and Yes, for example, ethics and laws. Ethics is an laws are external and ethics is internal, and thereby external obligation and internal obligation, and that is how you should be doing. That is, with respect to ethics, we have already seen that ethics is a normative science where we study human conduct on some established standard. Knowledge of ethics gives us knowledge of what we should do and what we should not in order to achieve summum bonum. Laws are codified rules which have been established by various sovereign nations and enforced through authority. And thereby we have seen that ethics and laws. Any conclusion here if you want to do, so you can always do with respect to various kind of taglines, like where law ends ethics starts, or for example ethics forms foundation for these laws, or for example Immanuel Kant says this, that is, in law one is guilty when he violates the right of other, in ethics he is guilty when even if he thinks of doing so. And thereby, for example, you can also conclude by Potter Stewart quote, that is, ethics is knowing the difference between what you have right to do and what is right to do, and thereby all of these aspects you will be doing with respect to conclusion. So we have seen introduction, the body wala part, we have seen that in the diagram should be coming, what aspect can be asked, and how to do those conclusion. Third particular theme is regarding consequences of ethics. Third theme is regarding consequences of ethics. This is a very, very important theme, consequences of ethics. They can ask various issues, they can ask various, for example, what will happen if ethics is there, if ethics is not there, and thereby issues and way forward. You should always be having this expertise in these two portions, क्योंकि क्वेश्चन पेपर में ये वाली थीम पक्की पूछी जाती है. They will be asking this particular question. This particular theme is very, very important from that is unit number 1, ethics and human interface. That is consequences of ethics. Now we have understood that is in this aspect, if you have seen that in this aspect these themes are very, very important. These themes are very, very important. Now if you see fourth theme, you will find that in this fourth theme you will find that questions have been asked from means versus end. Means versus end. And to do introduction in such type of question, you can start with Machiavelli's code, that is end justifies means, or for example Mahatma Gandhi, Machiavelli versus Mahatma Gandhi, wherein means justify ends. So now from that aspect, and thereby in the body wala part, first aspect would be means are more important than the end, second heading would be end is more important than the means, and third would be balancing means and end, and thereby doing conclusion in terms of Saul Alinsky. Saul Alinsky says that is ethics of means and end varies inversely proportional with the one's personal interest in the issue, and thereby that is for the civil servant, welfare of people should be acting as a guidepost. That is introduction, body, and a conclusion. In the fifth theme, if we will see fifth theme, you'll find that here from the unit number 1, the fifth theme would be regarding, that is, dimensions of ethics. Here in this dimensions of ethics, they will be asking questions. For example, various dimensions we have seen, like meta ethics, we have seen meta ethics, we have seen normative ethics, we have seen descriptive ethics, and thereby we have also seen applied ethics. So in out of all of these portions will be questions can be asked from the dimensions of ethics. They can ask question from here, or else they will be asking question from last theme. That is, this becomes our sixth theme, that is applied ethics. Here question will be asked from the aspects of, for example, here in this year they can ask questions from euthanasia, they can ask question from AI or machine learning or internet or data, with respect to data, that is in ethics. They can ask question about environmental ethics, They can ask question about administrative ethics. They can ask questions about, for example, corporate ethics. They can ask questions with respect to, that is, IR and its funding provisions. So what we have seen, dear friends, that is from the unit number one, that is these 6 themes are very, very important, and there is one more theme remaining, that is with respect to 7th theme. If you will see, you'll find that in the seventh theme is regarding, that is, value inculcation. Value inculcation. Here, that is, for example, they can ask questions on meva pe change, meva change, that is morality, ethics, values and attitude pe change, and thereby you should always use keywords like trial and error, observation learning, role taking, conditioning, prejudices, media and learning institution. In all of these aspects you can talk about, that is, we have to use these frameworks and these keywords should be coming in your answers. That is trial and error, observation learning, role taking, conditioning, prejudices, media and learning institution. Here they will be asking the role of father, mother, teacher or educational institution in good value inculcation. So what we have seen from unit number 1, all of these aspects will be asked. All of these aspects will be asked. So now here from this particular portion, these aspects will be asked. Beyond that, for example, from unit number 1, there is one more theme, that is determinant of ethics. There is one more theme, that is determinant of ethics, but that is not that important. And if question will be coming, you can always write, you can divide those questions from internal and external and write various dimensions, like for example internal like conscience, intuitions, your own rationality, or external like laws and constitutions, or for example religion, or for example media. All of those aspects you can always take as a point and then writing in the framework wise manner or keyword format, that is torque plus PML, that is trial and error, observation learning, role taking, conditioning, prejudices, media and learning institutions So with this we have already understood, that is from unit number 1, these themes are very, very required. Now, and beyond this, no question will be asked. Beyond all of these portions, whatever we have discussed here, no question will be asked. That is, these are very, very important things. These are very, very important things. Now, if you see unit number 2, now you'll find that, that is, if you see unit number 2, that attitude. Unit number 2 is what? That is attitude. Unit number 2 is attitude. Here questions are being asked from various aspects. Now here we have already seen 7 themes, and if you see here questions will be asked. First they will be asking, that is attitude functions. Now if such type of questions are being asked, now you should always talk in terms of, for example, you should always take the help of, first is Fishbein and Agin. That is, they told that attitude is an learned predisposition to respond consistently in favorable or unfavorable manner with respect to given object, and thereby, for example, you have to make diagram of cognition, affection and behavioral component. If you see in this particular aspect, you will be also being using various frameworks or keywords like KID E square B, that is knowledge function, instrumental function, decision making, ego defensive function, adjustment function, self awareness function or value expressive function. So all of these frameworks should be used while addressing. Now these keywords should be coming in the topic of attitude function. Next particular theme is regarding, that is, for example, they can ask questions on negative attitude. They will be asking questions on negative attitude. Yes, remember friends, UPSC asks questions, that is they are asking question why ethics and politics do not go together, or for example, why young people are not coming in politics. Such types of questions have been asked by, for example, UPSC examination in the UPSC ethics paper, and thereby, for example, negative political attitude. And if you have this conceptual clarity, we have already understood that is belief. In longer time they are converting into values. All values cannot be seen from prism of morality and for example rightness and wrongness. Only those values which are seen from prism of rightness and wrongness at the individual level forms morals, at the societal level they form ethics, and these values when objectified they are converting into attitude. Now if you have this particular portion of negative attitude, now you will be seeing that questions can be asked from the aspects of negative attitude, for example social attitude, political attitude. Those questions can be asked by UPSC, and thereby, remember, we have already seen in the consequences of ethics. Yes, consequences of ethics, that is, we have seen that values when objectified they are giving your attitude, and thereby all those negative consequences you will be talking about in the different context, whatever context UPSC is asking, and that is where this particular aspect can be asked, that is negative attitude. Next particular theme is regarding, that is 10th theme is regarding how to convert negative attitude toward positive attitude. Here you will be using frameworks. For example, that is यहाँ पर क्या क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है वो कि नेगेटिव एटीट्यूड से कैसे पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड में कन्वर्ट करना है. And if you see here, you'll find that here you have to use various keywords like you'll be using those keywords like social influence, persuasion, trial and error, observation learning, role taking, conditioning, prejudices, media and learning institution. All of these aspects you will be using for addressing these answers. Yes, that is with respect to addressing such type of questions, you will be taking the help of all of these keywords. Remember friends, you have to make diagram in such type of questions. Now if you see next particular theme here, they can ask questions from the aspects of types of attitude. Here they will be asking questions with respect to moral attitude, political attitude, social attitude, bureaucratic attitude or democratic attitude. And they will be asking, because for example if you see your syllabus, they have only mentioned these two types, moral and political attitude, but they can ask questions from social attitude, bureaucratic attitude and democratic attitude. All of these aspects they can ask differences between those two, and they can ask questions in the terms of administration also, their role in administration. So their types and its role in administration they can ask. Yes, and thereby you will be using various keywords like, for example, service delivery, for example policy implementation, conflict resolution, building trust, strengthening community relations, crisis management and behavioral change. Now all of these words you will be using, keywords you will be using with respect to role in administration. They can also ask various, for example, the next very important theme is with respect to role of social influence and persuasion in administration. They will be asking such type of questions. They can ask, for example, what do you mean by social influence? What do you mean by persuasion? While addressing such type of questions, you have to use various keywords like compliance, identification and internalization. Here you will be using various keywords like SACRA, source, attention, comprehension, retention and action. And thereby you will be also taking the help of Aristotle here. That is, Aristotle through ethos, pathos and logos, he tells that is in the terms of He tells that is character is the most effective means of persuasion. Such type of questions will be asked. So what we are saying, that is they can ask questions from this particular aspect as well. That is, for example, role of persuasion, role of social influence in administration, various types of attitude and their role in the administration. They can also ask questions from the how to convert negative attitude toward positive attitude, and thereby you have to take the help of social influence, persuasion, trial and error, observation learning, role taking, conditioning, prejudices, media and learning institutions, and thereby here also from the aspect of KID EA square B, that is knowledge function, instrumental function, decision making, ego defensive function, adjustment function, self awareness function and value expressive function, and thereby you have to introduce by Fishbein and Ajeen. Fishbein and Ajeen. Now unit number 2, for all of those who are writing mains, we have done unit number 2, that is with respect to all of these important themes we have done. Are you guys getting or not? So unit number 2 was over. Unit number 2 is over now in all these aspects. So if you have seen unit number 1, all of these are important themes, and unit number 2, all of these are very important themes. Yes, beyond that no question will be coming. Beyond that no question will be coming. Questions will be coming from this particular portions. So we till now we have seen 13 themes. Till now we have seen 13 themes. Now let's see unit number 3. In unit number 3, unit number 3 is regarding aptitude, and foundational values for civil services. Yes, third unit is regarding aptitude and foundational values for civil services. Now if you see unit number 3, they will be asking questions from the aspects of, that is here they can ask questions now from 3 aspects. Their definition, they will be asking questions from, for example, what are those examples, and that is its role in administration, So if you see this particular unit, you'll find that various values have been asked. For example, now they can ask questions, although there is no question on aptitude, but there is a high probability this year for those who are writing mains, that is they can ask questions on aptitude versus attitude. That is, for example, both of these decides the altitude of success. Then for example, next particular theme they can ask on the topic of integrity. Yes, integrity. Next particular theme is regarding, for example, impartiality. Yes, they can take the help of non-partisanship also. Yes, while asking these questions, non-partisanship. Then for example, they will be asking questions on the topic of, for example, fortitude, tolerance. Yes, for example, they can ask questions on courage of conviction. They can ask questions here from the dimensions of, for example, tolerance also. That is, they can ask questions from tolerance. They have asked previously also, and they will be asking questions on tolerance. What else they will be asking? They will be asking questions on trustworthiness. Yes, they can ask about here this year very important, that is empathy and compassion. Always try to make such type of diagram here in this particular sections, like we have already done, and like sympathy, empathy and compassion. You can always make such type of diagrams, although we have discussed, but for you guys, those who are writing mains, we will be studying all of these topics. We cannot go to the examination hall without studying these aspects. For example, they can ask questions about objectivity. Yes, and various aspects. Suppose if the question comes on the aspect, for example, of the administration, you'll find that is their role in administration, their role, for example, their role in administration. So what is being there, that is क्या पूछेगा यहाँ पर, what you have to write here, that is if they are asking, then you will be relating the first two aspects with respect to those philosophies. For example, you know what do you mean by integrity, you know that is, for example, C.S. Lewis says that doing right thing even when no one is watching. Yes, C.S. Lewis says this, that is doing right thing even when no one is watching. Now you have to contextualize in terms of administration, and thereby, for example, you have to mention service delivery, for example, effective policy implementation, yes, policy implementation, yes, thereby conflict resolution, building trust, strengthening community relations, crisis management, and behavioral change. Now all of these aspects can be asked in your examination. Unit number 3, we have seen unit number 1, 2 and 3. Unit number 1, 2 and 3, all of these aspects will be asked, and thereby we have seen various themes also. And let's see unit number 4. In unit number 4, the unit number 4 is regarding what? Unit number 4 is regarding emotional intelligence. Unit number 4 is regarding emotional intelligence. Here if you see what themes they are asking, अगर आप देखेंगे तो any question on the aspects of emotional intelligence, you will always starting by Daniel Goleman, and thereby first aspect they can ask with respect to IQ versus EQ. Second aspect they will be asking why EQ is more important than the IQ, that is why EQ is more important than the IQ. Next particular question they can ask role of EI in administration. Remember friend, any question from the emotional intelligence, you will always be starting by Daniel Goleman. Although you have seen that Salovey model is also there, but the one who has popularized that idea is Daniel Goleman, and thereby take the help of his book Emotional Intelligence, or for example, What Makes a Leader. He has talked about this concept of emotional intelligence, and thereby, for example, its role in administration they can ask. For example, he also says this, that is 80% of the adult success comes from EQ and less than 20% of that success comes from IQ. So that aspect can be asked. Now here 29th theme would be, that is its role, for example, its components, what they can ask, that is regarding its component of EI, and we have already seen, that is what are those, that is self-awareness, self-regulation, then for example motivation, empathy and social skill. Such type of question, such type of aspects will be asked, and you should be ready with respect to these frameworks for addressing those questions. If you see 30th theme, you'll find that questions are being asked, that is regarding, for example, how to develop this EI, and thereby you have already seen in the previous sessions, for example, in the previous aspect also, here also we have seen that in the topic of that is value inculcation or MEVA change or socialization factor, we have talked about various frameworks like trial and error, observation learning, role taking, conditioning, prejudices, media and learning institutions, and thereby we have also seen here on the aspects of, for example, how to convert negative to the positive, and thereby we have also talked about those aspects here. And then in this aspect also, in the topic of unit number 4, for example, how to develop EI, you will be taking the help of, for example, that is all of these framework, trial and error, here it will be becoming ethical training, for example, लवासना में होती है. And yes, for example, they can also ask questions. For example, you'll be writing about observation learning. But you learn by observation. Yes, observation learning. Yes, you can give the example of various, for example, leaders. Then you will be telling about role modeling. Role modeling. Yes, we can also talk about, for example, here you can give example of various IAS officers. For example, Divya Devarajan is being there. Then you can also write regarding reward and punishment, that is operant conditioning. Operant conditioning. Yes, and thereby all how to develop me, you have to write various factors from there, and thereby you have to make diagram of, for example, that is the diagram of kite, that is how to develop, that is knowing your team's emotions, and thereby interpersonal skills, then training, and thereby empathizing with others. Here you have to address like this: socialization factors plus, that is kite, and thereby this particular theme will be over. Beyond that, no question will be asked. From unit number 4, no question will be asked beyond this. So unit number 4 is being over. Now from unit number 5, if you will see that unit number 5 is regarding contribution of moral thinker and philosopher from India and world. Now here, from this aspect, they can ask 3 quotation based questions. Here they will be asking, there are 2 themes very important. First would be, that is quotation based questions can be asked. And second type of questions they will be asking from the aspects of, that is personality, that is what you have learned from this particular personality based questions. What you have learned from, for example, they can ask from Guru Nanak, that is Vand Chako, Naam Japo and Kirat Karo. For example, they can ask from the Mahatma Gandhi. Thereby you will be giving the example various keywords like trusteeship, truth, non-violence, or for example various aspects like Gandhiji's 7 sins, or all of those aspects. For example, Atma-nirikshan, all of those aspects will be talking about Sarvodaya, Antyodaya, all of those aspects. Trusteeship concept, all of those aspects will be telling regarding personality based questions. For example, they can ask questions with respect to any other personalities as well. Yes, you should be ready with that particular content, and for example, you should take the help here from the Nolan committee. It is just an addition, that is from the Nolan committee you can talk about various type of values that you see. क्योंकि एनी कोई भी पर्सनालिटी है तो कुछ अच्छा ही काम कर रही होगी तभी इतना फेमस है, एंड देयर बाय यू विल बी टेकिंग द हेल्प ऑफ नोलन कमिटी, दैट इज वेरियस 7 प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ पब्लिक लाइफ, दैट इज selflessness, honesty, objectivity, openness, leadership, integrity and accountability. You have to remember through Shulia, that is selflessness, honesty, objectivity, openness, leadership, integrity and accountability. And thereby these 2 type of questions, these quotation based questions will be asked in question number 3, A, B and C. And thereby in the unit number 5 there are various keywords we have, although in the classes we used to give all of those keywords. And if you say, for example, do mention in the comment sections that if you need those keyword also, thereby I'll be making a separate video, and I'll be talking about those 50 keywords which are very useful for scoring more than 140 plus. And thereby, for example, 140 plus ke liye, all those important keywords will be definitely talking about in the next particular video if you demand that. But that is, all of these are very important theme with respect to unit number 5. Then, for example, next particular unit is unit number 6. In the unit number 6, that is, questions can be asked from the aspects of values and ethics. The topic is values and ethics in public administration. Yes, next unit is values and ethics in public administration. And here the first aspect that is they will be asking, here the first aspect they will be asking, that is ethical issues. They will be asking, that is ethical issues in private sphere. Yes, they can ask questions from ethical issues in public sphere. They will be asking, that is ये वाली theme जो है वो 33rd and 34th है. So let's see that also. And thereby, for example, 36th theme would be around, for example, laws, rules and regulation as a source of ethical guidance. यहाँ पर आप कौन से keywords का इस्तेमाल करेंगे? Justice approach. Yes, yes. What are those keywords? Justice approach, that is minimum criterion, minimum, because these laws, rules and regulations provide the minimum condition. Yes, minimum condition to fulfill. And anyways, for a public servant, we have to go beyond these laws, rules and regulation to help people. And thereby, for example, operant conditioning, then that is with respect to reward and punishment, and thereby right based approach and external enforcement of those ethical conduct. We'll be talking about all of these aspects. We'll be talking about all of these aspects in this particular theme of laws, rules and regulation as a source of ethical guidance. They can ask questions from the aspect of conscience as a source of ethical guidance. Conscience as a source of ethical guidance. Here you will be talking about, for example, conscience gives you courage. Here you will be talking upholding human dignity. You will be talking promoting accountability and transparency, balancing, for example, personal and public ethics. For example, inner moral principles को follow करने में मदद करता है, resolving ethical dilemmas and thereby driving social reforms and thereby helping in ethical decision making. All of those keywords that we have talked about, you will be writing in this particular aspect. Doing conclusion in the terms of there is a higher court than court of justice, that is court of conscience as given by Mahatma Gandhi. Yes, you can make here diagrams like, for example, ethics, laws and conscience, and thereby you will be making such type of diagrams in this particular theme as well. Next, for example, here that is next very important theme is regarding, for example, ethical issues in IER. Here ethical issues in IER you will be talking about. For example, while doing those introduction, you can do two types of introduction. First introduction is, that is there is moral debate between following moral principles or national interest, or you can start by 3 books, for example, School of Realism, Idealism and Liberalism, and thereby starting and discussing various aspects, for example, in the issue from the part of issues like competition and inequality between different nations, human right violation, ideological clashes, irresponsible behavior, for example, weaponization and mass destruction, lack of environmental ethics, skewed governance, or for example, state-sponsored terrorism, dereliction of duties, organized crime, or for example, neo-colonialism. We'll be talking about all of these issues. Then in the way forward, you can talk about the aspects of from India. For example, Constitution of India provide Article 51. For example, NAM, Gujarat, or for example, Nuclear Doctrine of India. You can always talk about those. In the international, or for example, international ethical consideration would be, for example, regarding with respect to CTBT, NPT, or Paris Deal, or with respect to UN Convention on Refugees. All of those aspects you can talk about here, and doing conclusion in the terms of peace is not an attribute of weak, it is an attribute of strong. That is, an eye for an eye make the whole world blind, given by Mahatma Gandhi, and relate with SDG 16. Perfect introduction, body, conclusion. With diagram, you should be using all of these aspects. In diagrams, you can always mention that strength, peace and security are the important pillars, and thereby you can always make such type of diagram, that is strength, peace and security, and thereby you can use these aspects while addressing those questions. Then next particular theme is regarding 39th theme would be ethical issues in funding, international funding, and thereby you can start here with 3 books, that is White Man's Burden, that is Elusive Quest for Growth. Both of these books have been written by William Easterly. And next book is Dead 8, that is Dambisia Moyo. And then talk about issues, that is, for example, conditional aid, neocolonialism, or for example, with respect to subverting sovereignty of the nation, exploiting compulsion, and thereby, for example, you can also talk about the funding to the various kind of NGO, and that is terror financing. All of these aspects will be talking about. Do conclusion in the terms of Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramya, and thereby 39th theme is over. Then, for example, if you will see 40th theme, which is very very important from the unit number 6 perspective, is regarding corporate governance. They will be asked, iske bina paper nahi banega, so they will be asking. Now these themes are very very important, that is they can ask questions about issues and way forward of corporate governance, or they will be asking CSR, that is, for example, issues and way forward. Yes, you can talk about, for example, any questions here from this aspect of corporate governance. You should always start by Sir Adrian Cadbury Committee, and thereby way the company is directed, controlled or managed, thereby making diagram of people, planet and profit. Here you can also do similar with respect to CSR, but do mention conclusion. In the conclusion, do mention Anil Baijal Committee, or for example in Jeti Srinivas Committee, or for example you can do conclusion in the terms of Warren Buffett quote, that is, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. All of these aspects you will be talking about. That is next particular theme here is, that is regarding 42nd theme would be with respect to that is, we have already seen all of these aspects from unit number 6, and unit number 6 mein iske beyond koi theme nahi hai. Yes, one more theme is being remaining, that is with respect to one more theme is with respect to, that is conflict of interest. And 43rd theme would be ethical dilemma. Those who are writing mains, these themes are very very important. You should be well versed with introduction, body, conclusion with respect to all of these themes and their resolution. They will be asking questions कि क्या है और कैसे इसको रिजॉल्व करोगे, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट का मतलब क्या होता है और उसको कैसे रिजॉल्व करोगे, एथिकल डिलेमा का क्या मतलब होता है, और अगर आपने कोई एथिकल डिलेमा, अगर फॉर एग्जांपल पोटेंशियल एथिकल डिलेमा इज बीइंग देयर, देन हाउ यू विल बी रिजॉल्विंग देम. Yes, here they can take the help. They can also ask, for example, innovation or creativity is also very very important with respect to resolution of these dilemmas, and thereby, that is, we have already talked about 6R approach or recure approach in the classes, but you can write all of those aspects and justify this particular theme. That is, we have seen unit number 6. Last unit is regarding property in unit number 7 is, that is property in governance. Here in the property in governance, if you will see, so we have already talked about 43 themes. Now if you see in the property in governance, you'll find that, that is, they will be asking in 44th, that is कि property नहीं है तो क्या होगा और क्यों प्रॉपर्टी नहीं आ पा रही है. फर्स्ट एस्पेक्ट, दैट इज challenges in ensuring property, and next would be, that is here इसी का second part है, it is regarding कि what will happen if property is not there. such type of questions will be asked. Next particular theme here is regarding, that is role of property in governance and socio-economic development. Yes, and next particular theme they will be asking. तो यहाँ पर क्या है? All the bad governance aspects. Yes, क्यों नहीं आ पा रहा है प्रॉपर्टी? बिकॉज ऑफ बैड गवर्नेंस. क्या हो जाएगा अगर प्रॉपर्टी नहीं है तो? बैड गवर्नेंस होगा. एंड देयर बाय रोल ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी इन गवर्नेंस एंड सोशियो इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट, एंड देयर बाय ऑल दोज एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ DIRT RCB, दैट इज सर्विस डिलीवरी, पॉलिसी इंप्लीमेंटेशन, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रेजोल्यूशन, बिल्डिंग ट्रस्ट, strengthening community relations, crisis management and behavioral change, and thereby talk in the terms of UNDP principles like consensus oriented, rule of law, inclusiveness and equity, or for example participativeness, transparency, economy and efficiency, accountability and responsiveness. In all of these terms we'll be talking about in this particular, all of these are keywords that you will be doing with respect to this theme. Then they can ask questions from code of conduct and code of ethics. Yes, here they will be asking its role in administration and what is difference, and for example if suppose they can ask also in that aspect, if you have to design this code of ethics, how you can do that? If you have to design code of ethics, how you will be designing? And thereby remember friends, we have also written, that is for example in the Nolan committee various values. Yes, and thereby you can also use second ARC here in the terms of, for example that is honesty, objectivity, openness, integrity, accountability, for example professionalism, or for example spirit of service, or with respect to that is ensuring human right, or for example that is resolution also, and thereby professionalism. All of those aspects you can, or ethical competence, all of these aspects will be talking in the terms of second ARC public services code. So we have seen this 46th theme. Then 47th theme would be regarding, that is to ensure, how to ensure transparency and accountability. This particular aspect they will be asking. They can ask questions, for example social audit, they can ask question from RTI, they can ask question from the aspect of whistleblower protection act, they will be asking questions with respect to, for example citizen charter. Yes, they will be asking questions from these aspects. हमेशा याद रखना कि इसके बाहर पेपर नहीं आएगा और ये करके ही जाना है. Yes, they will be asking these aspects with respect to this particular theme. Yes, then for example if you see 48, then you will find that here they will be asking from the aspects of, for example misutilization or and underutilization of public funds, So next very important theme is, that is misutilization and underutilization of public fund, and here you have to talk about, that is doctrine of public trust. यहाँ पर लोग इंट्रोडक्शन बहुत ड्रैग करते हैं, तो डू नॉट ड्रैग टू मच, डायरेक्टली कॉन्टेक्चुअलाइज इन द टर्म्स ऑफ डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ public trust, or for example with respect to a doctrine of appropriateness, talk in the terms of economy, efficiency, or for example proprietyness, and thereby with respect to all of those aspects we'll be talking in the introduction part, and thereby doing aspects with respect to justifying this particular theme. Then 49th theme would be regarding, 49th theme here would be regarding corruption, and here they will be asking with respect to, here they will be asking questions with respect to challenges. Here they will be asking questions with respect to challenges. They can ask questions with respect to challenges of corruption, and if corruption is not there, for example then how to ensure that, how to curb those corruption, that is way forward. That is, they can ask all those frameworks like institutional framework, legal framework, or for example ethical framework, or for example role of CSO or media, and thereby both of these aspects they can ask, and thereby they can also ask from the aspect of Kautilya's view. Kautilya's view on corruption. For example, Kautilya has described 40 types of corruption, and such type of questions will be asked. For example, he has given fish analogy. For example, if he has given Masiraj, and all of those aspects will be talking from the aspects of Arthashastra, and thereby you will be giving Yogakchem, concept of welfare state, given by, that is, Kautilya. And last theme, 50th theme, would be regarding what you have done. That is very personal question to you. What you have done with respect to improving your ethics and values. Yes, with respect to ethical competence, improving your ethical competence. What steps you have taken? Yes, here they will be asking such type of questions. So what we have seen, dear friends, so we have seen 50 themes, 50 very important themes with respect to entire ethics, covering unit number 1 to 7. You should cover all of these themes from all dimensions: introduction, body, and conclusion first. Second is, that is, for example, we have seen from unit number 1 various themes. Yes, we have talked about various themes. Yes, or unit number 2 we have talked about attitude. Do mention various kind of diagram, do mention fish, bean, and agene here, and various frameworks that we have discussed. In the unit number 3 they are asking more about definition, examples, and administration. For example, they will be asking questions, what do you mean by these particular terms like impartiality or non-partisanship in the context of administration, and thereby you have to give definition, examples, and administrations key aspects. And thereby here they will be asking questions from emotional intelligence. Here they will be also asking questions with respect to, that is, negative emotions. Remember, for example, anger, hatred, how it is leading toward, for example, circle of violence, and thereby they can ask questions from the negative emotions aspect also. For example, they can ask questions from the aspect of making emotional intelligence work for you, not against you. So if they are asking not against you, so we'll be also talking about negative emotions. For example, anger, lust, greed, pride, and all of those aspects you will be talking about in this particular aspect of negative emotions. Yes, and thereby all these themes from unit number 4 we have seen. In the unit number 5 we have seen quotation based questions. In the unit number 6 we have seen various themes that are very important from the aspects of for example, most important theme is this कि हर साल क्वेश्चन आएगा, ये लास्ट की कुछ थीम्स है: एथिकल इश्यूज इन इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन, एथिकल इश्यूज इन इंटरनेशनल फंडिंग, एंड कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस एंड सीएसआर. इसमें से समझिए 2 क्वेश्चन पक्का आने वाले हैं. पेपर ऑलरेडी बता दे रहा हूं कि द क्वेश्चन विल बी कमिंग एंड यू शुड बी सॉल्विंग ऑल ऑफ दोस एस्पेक्ट. दीज 2 थीम्स आर आल्सो very important, कि conflict of resolutions and ethical dilemma. If they are not asking in the theory part, anyway they are going to ask in the case studies, and thereby that is unit number 7. And ensuring all of those aspects, you have to make diagrams, that is, for example, like honesty, integrity, and probity. Yes, honesty, integrity, and probity. Or for example, you can also make diagram with respect to governance, good governance, and ethical governance. Yes, dear friends, we have discussed, that is, in this particular lecture, 50 themes that are very important from ethics, for example, from in the ethics paper, and thereby if you have done all of these 50 themes in the introduction, body, and conclusion format, and ensuring that one diagram is there and one philosophy is being indicated, and thereby you will be ensuring that you are getting 140 plus in ethics. So with this mission, we have done this particular video. Do let me know if you need another video on the aspects of keywords, or for example, diagram based approach to cover entire these 50 themes, or anything that you want. Those who are writing mains, I'll be definitely covering for all of you, those who are giving mains. So with this, I am closing my class. Thank you. You can always approach us, that is Shubhra Ranjan IAS. You can always check various modules that are happening here and that are very mains focused, and for ethics portion I will be taking those ethics module. So do ensure ethics mastery with me, and I'll be ensuring that you are getting, that is, desired marks in your ethics paper. Thank you very much. We'll be meeting again.